Have Nottingham Forest made a huge mistake with Ross Wilson? And are they about to make another? Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. In today's episode, we'll be going through this and is it a massive mistake or not? My Twitter has been inundated with Rangers fans, and I always think the fans have somewhat of an idea of how they feel about what's going on in their club. We'll also be talking about another Rangers person from high above being linked up to come and follow Ross Wilson. So, if you're enjoying all the content on Forest Fan TV, please don't forget to give us a quick like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. And if you want to become a member, it's only 99p. It goes a long way to supporting all the production and everything else we do on here. But let's jump into the news. Okay, so Ross Wilson, look, I'll say now, I'm making no prejudgments on it. I mean, when it was announced last night, there was a lot of comments flying around and what have you. But I do look at what fans say. And for me, what I did, I reached out to the Rangers fans and on Twitter. And I think the easiest thing is just to show you some of the comments they've been saying on the Twitter timeline. So let's bring this up. So shout out to Heart and Hand Podcast. I put the question to them when they announced it, saying, you guys don't seem too broken up about this. And they replied quite diplomatically, wish him all the best, and would like to see you guys stay up, etc., etc. But it's definitely time for someone else to come in. But watch what the actual Joe Bloggses was saying. Mate, it's crazy, guys, how many responses came through. He's not a loss at all. We're throwing parties if he accepts it. No doubt he'll be doing a great job. No doubt he did a great job at Southampton, so maybe with a club, bigger budget, etc., he might work. We'll talk about that in a minute. Gutted, to be honest, mate. Done so many great things for us and brought in so many great players. I believe there's sarcasm in there. Good luck, get used to it. This one cracks me up there. Bit of a throw out. And it just went on and on. The gifts were all there, the celebrations. It's just crazy. But then, of course, someone sends you this. This is 3 weeks ago. Fans chanting, time for him to go, time for them to get out. It's not just him they're referring to there. It's the board as well. So clearly there are a lot of issues going on in Rangers. Now, I ain't saying he's good or bad because honestly, I don't know enough about him. But what I definitely can tell you is that they were very worried about what he did with their youth players, underselling them, getting rid of them, as in their younger players, not so much their youth players. Now, coming to Forest, what do we have in abundance? We have youth, young, good, talented players. You got Brennan Johnson, you got Ryan Yates, you got MGW, you got, the list goes on and on. And what's his reaction going to be to all of those? And what happens, let's say in the worst case scenario that Forest do go down? Is that something he's going to look to decimate? And the other thing they were saying was that he was selling these players for under price of market value. And he's just making quick sales with them. And that seemed to be a reoccurring theme from what everyone was saying there. In terms of what he did at Southampton, the highlight that people were telling me about was that he brought Virgil van Dijk into the club. But outside of that, they didn't really have too much to say about him either. And either way, I'm not judging him. I don't know him from Jack, you know what I'm saying? But either way, I think the real question is, why would Forest approach someone who's so unstable? In terms of not mind, obviously, but in terms of the position. In a period where we're going through a bit of turbulence ourselves, just got rid of Filippo. We've just got rid of Dane Murphy recently. They sacked the recruitment team less than 6 months ago. And there's still talks about Steve Cooper's future. Is this someone who's coming in that's going to be a bit of a clearer outer, Royal Rumble style, clears everyone out the top rope? Is that what they're bringing him in for, to be the ugly, nasty guy? I don't know. Or is there really some strategy behind it? I've never really questioned anything Mr. Marinakis has done. I always think there is some logical sense. He's a great businessman. He knows what he's doing. But this one has got me scratching my head a little. And I don't know I can't see the vision. Usually you feel like you can see the vision with what Marinakis is doing. In this one, I'm yet to be convinced, but I say, okay, Marinakis has decided it. Let's see what happens, and let's see if this goes forward. But what do you guys think on this appointment? And have you guys been getting the same reaction from Twitter or any Rangers mates you know? And if you're a Rangers fan, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. I'm sure all the Forest fans will be interested to hear your thoughts. Now, the other unstable turbulence that this could potentially cause is what's happening with the whole Gary Brazil situation. And maybe this is why his contract hasn't been renewed. Because reports have come out today that one of the first actions that Ross is going to do is to bring his buddy with him from Rangers. And it's a guy called Craig Mulholland, I think that's how you pronounce it. And they're looking at bringing him in because they're very close friends. And just reading the report at the moment, let's just read this out to you. Rangers could lose academy director Craig Mulholland to Nottingham Forest after Ross Wilson's departure to become the new sporting director at the City Ground. Wilson and Mulholland are understood to be extremely close, and one of the first jobs for Wilson will be to help identifying a new academy director. Gary Brazil is currently the man in the role for Forest, but his contract expires at the end of the year, and there's no indication of whether or not there's a new deal on the cards. So again, it kind of rings true when you think about the logic of it. Maybe this is part of the plan. But I think Gary Brazil has been fantastic, especially when he's stepped up and been intern for the first team as well. I mean, I bet he's got a hell of a good win percentage record. But anyway, that's by and by. The point is, this is what I was referring to earlier, where it feels like potentially someone's coming in and is about to clear house and get things done under a new regime. Now, some would argue that maybe that is what is needed with the recruitment issues we've had this January, with the people being fired and hired left, right, and center in the background. Maybe this is what needs to be done. But I'm still not convinced, man. There's something just not sitting right with me about it. And the fact that Rangers fans are laughing that we paid them to take on Ross Wilson, that to me in itself, it just raises alarm bells. It raises alarm bells. I'd really be intrigued to know your guys' thoughts on all of this. There's a lot happening in the backroom staff. As I mentioned yesterday, these aren't names that we need to be familiar with. And when you become familiar with these names, that becomes part of the problem. Because as a football fan, all you want to care about is the manager, maybe the assistant managers, and the players who are on the pitch. What goes on behind the scenes, you want it to run smoothly. You just don't want to, hear any public involvement about it. And you just want the results to come on the pitch. When these names start spilling out, when these positions are up for grabs, when there's talks about best mates coming with him, etc., that's when it does start to raise a few alarm bells. So get your thoughts in down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how much you care about what goes on in the back room. I think, everything starts from the top and works its way down. If at boardroom level things are good, then it filters down and it's a cohesive, well-run club. When it's not working, and we've had plenty of examples in the past, let me just say the word for was, and you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. Then we see what happens. So yes, I do worry a little because we have been stung before with it all. So get your thoughts in. Anyway, I hope this video helps you maybe understand these guys that are just coming in and the rumors of the guys coming in with them. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, on your way out, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.